What we're going to do is come down here to the file created event handler method. And inside this method, we're going to add a call to the process single file method that we created earlier. As a parameter to this process single file method, we need to pass the full path to the file we want to process. We can get this from the file system event args that we get in this event handler method. But we don't want to use just the name property here because that won't give us the full path. Instead, we're going to use the full path property of the file system event args object. This will give us the full path and file name to the affected file. Let's run the application now. And once again, we'll go and copy data1.txt into the input directory. I'll just paste that. Notice we've got the created event firing here, and we're processing the file, and we've also got some changed events and also this delete event. The reason we get this deleted event is because while we process a file, it gets moved to the processing directory. We can think of a move operation as a copy followed by a delete, and that's why we're getting the deleted event. Let's go and copy the file again. So we'll just come back to the root, and once again copy data1.txt and paste it here. But notice now we're getting this IO exception. It's telling us the process cannot access the file C PS data in data1.txt because it's being used by another process. And that's because the Microsoft documentation states that, quote, the onCreated event is raised as soon as a file is created. If a file is being copied or transferred into a watched directory, the onCreated event will be raised immediately, followed by one or more onChanged events. End quote. When you're writing file accessing code, you should ensure you perform extensive integration and load testing to make sure your application will work as expected. Later in this module, we'll be implementing some changes that will help address this kind of error. Let's just stop this, and we'll just go and clean up the file system here. We'll delete this file in the input directory, and we'll also delete the backup and complete directories. Let's run the application once again. And this time we're going to copy multiple files. So we'll go and copy data1, data2, and data3.txt and paste them at the same time into the input directory. Notice that we get all three files processed, but notice that they're in no particular order. For example, here we can see the first file created event output was for data3.txt. Down here we can see the file created event for data1.txt. And if I scroll down here, we can see the file created event for data2.txt. So if you're copying batches of files into a watch directory at the same time, there's no guarantee they'll be processed in any particular order. Suppose when we start the application, there's some existing files in the input directory, and what we want to do is we want our application to notice if those files change while the application is running. Let's take a look at this next.